All right, guys, so we are going to pick up where we left off with the notes from Wednesday. So we were looking at some side angle side stuff here. We did one proof where there was only 4 steps, and now we're going to take a look at number 5. With number 5, we are given 2 pieces of information. We have 1 and 2 written here. And as always, our givens are the first things that we write in our proofs. So if we look at statements 1 and 2, we do have both of the givens there. So our reasons for 1 and 2 are going to be given. Okay. So both of those are our givens. And let's mark it up on the picture if we can. We know that AB is congruent to CB. So AB is congruent to CB here. And then BD bisects angle ABC. So I can't really mark anything up just yet, just with that one statement. But if I make my checklist, I do have a pair of sides, right? This is my pair of sides here that I'm given. Okay. I need 2 more congruency statements to be able to say that these 2 triangles are congruent, like it's asking me to prove. So if I am saying that this ray BD is bisecting angle ABC, then it's cutting that angle in half. Bisect means to cut in half. So if that ray is cutting the angle in half, then that means that that ray, that segment is an angle bisector. So definition of angle bisector would be your reason for saying number 3, because ABD is this angle and CBD is this angle here. Okay, so we got a pair of angles now. I'm going to put an A in my checklist. I need one more thing. Okay, and then we're in a when in doubt, look for either something reflexive or look for a pair of vertical angles, just because we ran out of information to pull from what we were given. So in my situation here, we have that side BD that is shared between the 2 triangles. So that side is going to be reflexive. So I'm going to mark it with an X. And I do have another side in there now. So this is going to be my other side. I have all 3 congruency statements I need. The reason is going to be reflexive property. And then now I can finally say that the 2 triangles are congruent to each other in my last statement, and that is by side, angle, side. And also, if you guys are looking at the picture, if you just separate out one of the triangles, we have this side here, this angle, and then this side marked. So you see that you have the 2 sides, and then the angle that's in between them. That's what side, angle, side looks like. Okay, so that was number 5. Let's take a look at the next one. We've got a bow tie situation here. So again, let me start with my checklist. Again, our proofs always start with what we're given. So we're only given that V is the midpoint of WZ and XY. That's the first statement that's there. So my reason is given for number 1. And that's the only thing that I was given. So working off of that, right, I know that the word midpoint was used. So that means that something is going to be cut in half here. So if I'm looking at the next statement, it says WV, so WV is this side here, is congruent to ZV. That's a pair of sides. Okay, that is based off of the definition of a midpoint. So that is what my reason is going to be for number 2. Okay, we worked off the fact that V is the midpoint of WZ to answer what we have for statement number 2. But if we look at what we have for number 3, it's actually giving us a pair of angles here. So WVX is here, and then ZVY is here. So again, we have a bow tie situation. So that means that we've got vertical angles. So this is a pair of vertical angles here. So we're going to say vertical angles congruent. The way that I would normally want you guys to go about answering this question is by just going out and looking at what you have for your givens and like doing as much as you can from what they give you, and then do a when in doubt, look for something reflexive or vertical angles. But here in this example, they're having you go quite literally in side angle side form. So the next pair of sides is right here for number 4. Okay, my checklist is full. I have XV, it's congruent to YV. So that is based off of the fact that V is the midpoint of XY. So that's also definition of midpoint. Okay, a midpoint breaks a segment into 2 equal pieces. And then now I have both of my triangles congruent by side, angle, side. Okay, so that's number 6. Number 7 here, really quick, just to go over it before we go on to the next slide with angle, side, angle. Number 7, we're given 2 things. We're given that HI is congruent to JG. So HI congruent to JG. I make my checklist quick. That's a pair of sides. And that's given to me. Always mark up your diagram. We're also told that HI is parallel to JG. So again, parallel, you have to put that little arrow on there. So that is also given. Okay, there isn't really anything that we can pull from that other than the fact that we have a pair of angles. So anytime you have parallel lines, you're going to have an angle pair. So either they're going to be alternate interior angles or they're going to be corresponding angles. So here, if I have HI and GJ, HJ is the transversal between those 2 lines. And you guys can always extend out the parallel lines here to kind of just picture the angle pair that you'll have. But if we have GJH, that's this angle here, is congruent to IHJ, that's this angle here, that is a pair of alternate interior angles. So we can say alternate interior angles congruent. Okay, because we have the parallel lines first. So now we can say that we have alternate interior angles. Again, alternate interior angles, they're in between the parallel lines and one is on each side of the transversal. So that's a pair of angles. And then the 4th statement is a pair of sides. So my checklist is full. And if I have HJ is congruent to JH, that's the same thing as saying that it's congruent to itself. So that is the reflexive property. Okay. And then now I can just say that the 2 triangles are congruent based on side, angle, side. Okay. And that's it for the side angle side notes.